You can get a phone call from a financial institution if you're banking with ABC Bank, and they're calling, they'll say something like, "This is ABC Bank. You've been a member for a very long time. I want to thank you. We're calling to verify and update our records, but I'll need you to verify some information, your social security number, your banking information." If I've been a customer for a very long time, don't you think that they would have that information? That's some food for thought. All of these phone calls that come in, whether they're recognized or not, we should always proceed with caution and don't give out our information, because government imposters, business imposters, people posing as someone that we don't know if it's really them, Medicare, Medi-Cal, our doctor's office, go to the source, but never using the number that's left on your machine or the number that they want you to utilize.
Hello, and welcome to Not Born Yesterday, a podcast dedicated to older adults and the challenges and joys of aging. I'm Miriam Goodman.
Not Born Yesterday is brought to you by Next Village SF, a local nonprofit providing older adults in the Northeast neighborhood of San Francisco with support to help age in place. I'm Lynn Winter-Gross.
Scams against seniors have probably been around since the beginning of time, and they are on the rise. Just as I sat down to work on this episode, a scam text came to my phone about a phony package delivery. So now it seems that as soon as a new technology is developed, scammers will try to use it for illicit activities. And unfortunately, seniors are the main targets. There are text scams, financial scams, grandparent scams, romance scams, and the scammers go after people they think have assets and may be lonely, living alone without anyone to check with when a text message comes in or a phone caller seems so friendly or a technology issue pops up on the computer. In fact, according to the FBI, tech support scams are the most common among people over the age of 60.
To help protect us from future scams, our guest today is an expert on all kinds of fraud. For more than 20 years, Jackie Wiley has worked on the California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation. She works to inform older adults on how to recognize the warning signs of financial scams, and we are happy to have her with us today. Jackie, welcome to Not Born Yesterday.
Well, thank you both for inviting me and to speak on this very critical topic. I feel like today is the most important time for all of us to try to become aware of what's out there, what's targeting us, and not just only older adults, even though they are the prime victims. Anybody is susceptible to becoming a victim. So the topic is really critical in today's times. Thank you for having me.
Sure. Well, let's start with some of the methods scammers use to target victims. So many of us think we're so smart, we're going to recognize that scam, doesn't matter. But obviously, millions of us are preyed upon every day. How do scammers usually reach people to begin with?
So, there are three methods of contacts that scammers use to contact us. And they've gotten really savvy with the names. So you might hear vishing, phishing, smishing, and it's just a fancy way of saying the telephone, contacting us through emails, or texting us. But what I want to point out about the three commonalities that they have is the fact that they all contain a sense of urgency. And the sense of urgency, they want us to act now, respond right away, click here, or call this number right away to rectify a situation.
What about Medicare scams? It seems like these are threatening seniors by telling us that we're going to lose Medicare coverage unless we do certain things. Is Medicare doing anything about these scams?
I can't speak for what they are doing, but one of the things that I can say is that most, and if not all organizations, they usually will have a disclaimer to say Medicare doesn't call you and asks you for personal information. So even though you'll answer the phone and if someone's identifying themselves as from Medicare and offering you something, please, 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 don't just believe the caller. You hang up and you call the number directly. And that's what I say, go to the source. Yeah.
So Social Security is another issue where people have been subject to fraud. I suppose once somebody has your Social Security number, they can do all kinds of things, open credit card accounts, bank accounts, whatever. So what methods do they use?
Well, again, one of the things that people need to know is Social Security, IRS, the government is not going to call you. So if you get a phone call saying that your Social Security card has been frozen or compromised, immediately terminate the call, delete the email, and again, go to the source, meaning contact the Social Security Administration to verify the information.
I know people personally who've lost their entire bank accounts to scammers by people posing as tech support. That something shows up on their computer and says that they're calling from Microsoft or Apple, and what should they do, and what can we do to prevent this from happening?
Since the pandemic, so many scams have heightened and have become more sophisticated, but they're kind of like the old ones. So if I'm on my computer and I start seeing flashing or it's freezing and I'm getting this alert, your computer has been hacked, the first thing that we should do is shut it off, shut it down, come off of it. Do not respond to this. And another thing I tell my audience, we have grandkids, you have, your adult children who are very computer savvy nowadays. They know about these new apps, the new technologies. So go to them and stop believing the fact that someone that's called you out of the random about your computer, that they can fix it for a fee. It's to gain your personal and financial information. Come off of it immediately and notify a relative or someone that is tech savvy.
We're so susceptible. There's so many times I've told my kids, well, I opened the email, and they say, Mom, how could you have opened the email? Of course it was a scam. And it's like, well, I don't know. I just opened the email. I'm used to opening my emails.
Well, you know what? It's curiosity. You see an email and it's like, wait a minute, what is this about? So you open it, but then as long as you are not responding to the email, you want to see what it's about. But sometimes we have to let the curiosity fly out of the window. If you're not recognizing it, if you are questioning it in any kind of way, just delete it without even opening it.
Before we leave financial scams, which is what all these are about, the last one I wanted to talk about was bank fraud. Again, imposters will call you and say there's a problem with your account and you can move your funds right now to this other account and just leave it there for half an hour so we can clean up your account and then we'll put it back. And what can we do about those?
Yikes. Again, since the pandemic, excuse me, online banking has increased. Because if you remember, things were shut down. People weren't able to get to the bank to make deposits or withdrawals. And so people have become online bank users and more cyber users, okay? So if I get an email or I'll say a text message that says your account seems to have some suspicious activity or unusual activity, please log in here now. Definite red flag. And it's always a frightening situation, but my motto, go directly to the source. You go and you contact your financial institution to say, hey, I got this text message and it's telling me there's some unusual activity. I'd like to verify that there's nothing wrong. Other things that we can do is we can put alerts on our accounts. So let's say I have an alert on my account and if there is, let's say $50 or more that has been withdrawn or deposited, I'm going to get an alert from my bank.
I'm glad you remind us how important it is when they say, we're going to send you an email or a text with your number, please verify it. And I always say, oh my God, I don't want to do that. But I'm glad you're reminding us how important that is and why we're asked to do that.
And you don't. I mean, you can get a phone call from a financial institution if you're banking with ABC Bank, and they're calling, they'll say something like, "This is ABC Bank. You've been a member for a very long time. I want to thank you. We're calling to verify and update our records, but I'll need you to verify some information, your social security number, your banking information." If I've been a customer for a very long time, don't you think that they would have that information? That's some food for thought. But again, all of these phone calls that come in, whether they're recognized or not, we should always proceed with caution and don't give out our information, because why? Government imposters, business imposters, people posing as someone that we don't know if it's really them. Medicare, Medi-Cal, our doctor's office. Go to the source, but never using the number that's left on your machine or the number that they want you to utilize. Yeah.
To switch a little bit, I wanted to ask you about grandparents, which you mentioned before. This one's emotionally devastating because so many people, it plays on our love for our grandchild, and the scammer tugs at our hearts and makes our emotions take over.
We all know that grandparents will do just about anything for their grandchildren, right? So if I get a call and it's always a panicked voice, "Grandma, grandpa, oh my God, it's me. Thank you for answering, but I'm in trouble. I need you to help me and send money, or else I stand to be going to jail. Let me put you on the phone with the arresting officer." They have a person that's phony, posing as the officer, instructing you on how to go and get, let's say, $2,000 to them immediately, because time is of the essence. Some of them have even stayed on the phone and had an individual go to Walmart to get a gift card, put the money on the gift card, and I'm holding on, and you give me the numbers. So all calls are frightening. And I'm going to make it even more frightening with the new AI, the artificial intelligence, where you get the call and you say, "Wow, Jackie, is this you?" Like, "Jackie, oh my God, are you okay?" And then the person will say, "That's enough talking. This is what I need you to do." But it sounded just like your grandchild. So the artificial intelligence is going to be a very dangerous situation, whether it's a grandparent call or not, or any other call to sound like yourself. So what we need to do to protect ourselves before we do anything with trying to get our loved ones out of a quote unquote situation, we need to verify. We might want to say something like, "Is there a phone number that I can call you back at? Let me see what I can do." That's one thing. And or maybe we need to start asking them some type of question, like, "Well, if this is my granddaughter," not divulging the name, "tell me what high school you went to." Something that the caller would not know of, and you're probably going to hear a click and they're going to hang up. But in the event, it's frightening. They call in the middle of the night, all times of the day. You never know. Please verify the information with the loved one or the relative before you depart with your money.
Okay, moving right along. What about charity fraud? Many people are going to be getting calls. Let's see what we can do. Send some money to people in Ukraine. Send some money to Maui. How do we know if those calls are real?
I just want to say, because of the way of the world right now, we really need to do our due diligence, which means to verify and go to the source. And yes, charity scams, disasters, we start seeing an influx of phone calls because people are going to start calling to say, "Hey, we're doing a fundraiser for such and such situation. Did you want to give?" That right there is prime for you going to get your credit card and putting the money on, doing the fundraiser that way. They've got your credit card number, or I'm going to use my check. I can provide you with my checking information. We can't do this. We have to know to verify first. And you can always verify a charity by going to charitynavigator.org, charitynavigator.org. I'm also suggesting that if you do want to give, don't use a personal check. Go out and get a money order. It's the same thing as cash, and so this way they won't have your personal checking information from your personal check.
Are we getting smarter about reporting these scams, do you think?
I hope so. As being a targeted outreach specialist with the DFP, I have been doing outreach for many, many years, bringing awareness about how to protect ourselves as best we can from falling victim to frauds and scams, whether it's phone, text, or email, or even door-to-door solicitation. I'm hoping that people are becoming more aware and are utilizing the tools that are being presented to them, not just by myself, but by other organizations who are advocating for elder abuse prevention. So yes, reporting is very, very necessary. The communities, you guys are our eyes and our ears. We can't go after the bad actors if we don't know about them. So reporting is important, and we try to instill that when we're out there in the field. Sometimes it's tedious, sometimes it's not, but just making a phone call to say, hey, this is a situation, maybe you've been defrauded, but it can maybe help another individual not fall victim. So I'm hoping that people are taking heed and empowering themselves to, hang up and say, no, thank you, I'm not interested, instead of buying into any offers that come their way.
So hanging up and turning off your computer, those are so sensible. I guess the same thing, don't give them your credit card numbers or don't give them your social security numbers. Is there anything that you haven't mentioned that is a way to prevent ourselves from falling victim to these scams?
I want to back up with the charity scams. Please also know that the police department, sheriff department, and the fire departments don't and will not call you to say, hey, we're doing a fundraiser, we're soliciting and wanting to help the victims in Maui. They're not going to call you to do that. And we're starting to hear that in the audiences that I have done presentations with. And I suggest that you call your local PD, FP, or sheriff's department to let them know that. But please don't be fooled by the titles of individuals who are calling you. But again, don't utilize the numbers that's left on our voice messages or in those emails that pop up out of the clear blue. You don't know who is really on the other line. Please go to the source. If that means getting out an old bill and contact Medicare and say, hey, I got a call about A, B, and C. Was that somebody, a representative of Medicare? How do I know that? By going to the source.
Well, thank you so much, Jackie. We really appreciate your bringing this important subject to our attention. It was great having you here. So our guest was Jackie Wiley. On News You Can Use today, we're talking about a decision many of us face every 5 or 10 years. Should we go to our high school reunion? If the reunion committee has kept up with your address changes over the years and you can still find them, when that invitation arrives, will you face the decision of should we go or shouldn't we go? What do we expect it will be like? Will our old friends be coming? Will we even recognize them? If we're still married, should we bring our spouse? A recent article in Psychology Today gives us some things to consider before we make up our minds. For example,
first identify what having a good time would look like. If you still live in the city where you went to school, do you keep up with any of your former classmates? If not, are you hoping to see your former boyfriend or your girlfriend and have fantasies about maybe reconnecting? Are you ready to accept how different they will look now and how different you look? Be prepared for good and bad memories. Those teenage years may not have been the happiest or the easiest, Would you rather just avoid having to face those years again? And maybe you're hoping to make some new friends. Maybe you'll find things in common now with classmates who you didn't even talk to when you were 16.
How do you feel about yourself today? And how do you want others to see you? Might you compare yourself to others and feel intimidated by hearing them boast about their career or romantic successes? If you went to a past reunion, did you really like it? High school was a long time ago, and you might not want to revisit that period of your life again. Others decide why not. It's worth a try, and you get to see what happened to former classmates. It's your choice.
And that's our podcast for today. Our thanks to our guest, Jackie Wiley of the California Department of Protection and Innovation. You can learn more about Next Village SF at their website, nextvillagesf.org. Our theme music is from Hook Sounds, and Jason Dahlstadt is our engineer. And thank you for listening. We'd love to hear what you would like us to discuss and discover. Please contact us at notbornyesterdaypodcast.org or check us out on our Facebook page, Not Born Yesterday Podcast, and follow us. Be well, stay strong, and remember, you weren't born yesterday. I'm Lynn Winter Gross.
And I'm Miriam Goodman.